On behalf of the University of San Francisco, I would like to formally welcome all the graduates, families, friends, supporting faculty, staff to the 21st Annual Latinx Recognition Ceremony. My name is Lester Deans. I serve as Assistant Vice President for Student Life. I extend congratulations on behalf of the university to all the students who are receiving their degrees this year. I also want to acknowledge the importance of families, friends, members of the Latinx community who have been there in all the ways they could to support our students in achieving this important milestone. The Latinx Recognition Ceremony recognizes our graduating Latinx, Hispanic, Chicanx, and mixed race Latinx, Hispanic, Chicanx students here at USF. This year's ceremony's planning committee has chosen An Amber in Me That Blazes Forever as its theme, inspired by a quote from Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor. The Latina in me is an amber that blazes forever. As we embrace these times with renewed hope, I believe this quote well captures the strengths and the resilience that we have seen in our Latinx community at USF. Today we celebrate and look to our graduates for inspiration. This is your time. This is your rite of passage. We honor not only your individual accomplishments in academics, service, and leadership, but we also pay tribute to your collective victories and sacrifices as a community. Thank you to everyone who has come to tonight's event or is watching this video afterwards for your support to our Latinx community. To our graduates, welcome to your Latinx Recognition Ceremony.
The USF Land Acknowledgement Statement was written by a fellow guest in Ohlone Territory, Kalina Lawrence, Suquamish Nation, USF Performing Arts and Social Justice alum, class of 2016. As we share space to strengthen our journey towards consciousness and liberation, we must take the time to acknowledge the difficult truths of our history that have shaped our current realities. Our collective relationship with Indigenous peoples by this institution, this city, this country, and this continent is in immediate and sincere need of reconciliation and reclamation. Today, we cannot deny the story of this land and its truth that is too often untold. Today, we gather on unceded, stolen Ohlone territory. The village of Yelamu is the territory of the Ramaytush-speaking people, one of 8 nations now referred to as Ohlone. Even through devastating events, the Yelamu are still here and working tirelessly for their right to remain and evolve in this place we consider San Francisco. Many of us who have come to benefit from this land still participate in the ongoing displacement of its original stewards, but we can choose to be better advocates and accomplices in favor of their restoration. We have the responsibility to indigenize every space we occupy. We have the obligation as guests to inform ourselves about each region we visit, starting most intimately with the ones in which we reside. No matter how long-term or temporary our stay is, we must offer ourselves in the same way that we have gained from the injustices faced by Ohlone peoples and those in the Bay Area at the hands of colonial invasion. Moving forward, we encourage the amplification of Indigenous land recognition at the beginning of dinner with our families, at every event, ceremony, and gathering that we organize, and in our everyday walk as lifelong students. As one Mutsun Ohlone sister, Canyon Sayers Rude, says, there have always been Indigenous peoples in the spaces we call home, and there always will be. Today, as you reach another milestone in your journey, we hope that you embrace our call to use your influence as a resource for Indigenous liberation.
Dear class of 2021.
Estimada clase del 2021.
Congratulations! Felicidades!
Congratulations! Felicidades!
As a member of the Latinx Latina community at USF,
como miembro de la comunidad Latinx de la universidad,
I would like to congratulate you on your successes so far.
Me gustaría felicitarte por tus éxitos.
The past year has been challenging for all of us.
But despite these challenges, you have made it to graduation.
And for that, we celebrate you.
And your achievements.
El año pasado ha sido difícil para todos nosotros. Pero a pesar de estos tiempos, de estos desafíos, has llegado a tu graduación.
Y por eso te celebramos a ti y todos tus logros.
This year's themes for the Latinx Recognition Ceremony is An Ember That Blazes Forever.
Inspired by a quote by Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
El tema de este año para esta ceremonia de reconocimiento es Una brasa en mí que arde para siempre.
Inspirado por una cita de la jueza de la Corte Mayor, Sonia Sotomayor.
As you enter a new chapter in your life,
we wish to remind you
that whether your time at USF was short or long,
you have been forged by the toughest of fires,
and you will still continue to be an ember that glows.
Al entrar a este nuevo capítulo de tu vida, deseamos recordarte que si tu tiempo en la universidad haya sido corto o largo,
has sido forjado en lo más fuerte de los fuegos y sigues siendo una brasa que brilla.
You are the product of our collective legacy of resilience.
Eres el resultado de nuestro legado colectivo de resiliencia.
Thank you for keeping your ember glowing.
Gracias por mantener tu brasa encendida.
Thank you.
I hope as you move forward, you remember
all the relationships that you forged in your time at USF.
This is your life. Don't compare yourself to anybody else.
And remember that you are capable of anything.
And know that this is just the beginning.
Remember all of your experiences at USF.
Espero que cuando sigas avanzando, que te recuerdes de esto y todo lo que has logrado para llegar a este momento.
You are now on nobody's timeline.
We can't wait to see all that you will accomplish.
Lo hiciste.
Siempre adelante. You did it.
Be proud of yourself.
We are proud of you.
We wish you the best for your future.
Siéntete orgullosa o orgulloso de ti misma. Nosotros estamos orgullosas de ti.
Te deseamos lo mejor a tu futuro.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Felicidades, clase del 2021.
Felicidades, class of 2021. It's a pleasure to be in celebration with you and your loved ones. My name is Liliana Herrera, and I'm here with my brother.
Francisco Herrera, felicidades, órale.
We know you've worked so hard for this great achievement, and we congratulate you and we honor you today.
We're very honored to be with you, to be able to join you with you in song, and we have this small offering con mucho respeto, cariño. Muchas gracias y felicidades.
¡Que viva la raza!
Eso.
Like an ember,
un lucero.
We remember. Mis abuelas,
mis abuelos,
Brilla. Brilla. the silence,
Dando pestañas,
alone and defiant.
tu perseverancia.
You never gave up. Brilla.
Hello, my name is Hector Bustos, and I am beyond thrilled to be sharing this space with you, wherever you may be in this world. I am graduating with my Bachelor of Arts in Politics and a minor in Public Service and Community Engagement. Quería aprovechar la oportunidad al comienzo de mi discurso para dirigirme a todos ustedes en español, porque sé que muchos de nuestros padres, abuelos, tías y tíos están viendo esta ceremonia con nosotros. Muchos de ustedes se han sentado durante nuestra graduación de kindergarten, nuestra promoción de octavo grado, nuestra graduación de la secundaria, sin entender una sola palabra, pero siguieron ahí, orgullosos, sabiendo que las luchas que soportaron valieron la pena. Y por esa razón, me gustaría dedicar mi discurso de hoy a aquellos en nuestra comunidad que no han tenido el privilegio de aprender inglés, porque han dedicado gran parte de su vida al trabajo y a su familia, simplemente para sobrevivir. Hoy merecen sentirse bienvenidos en este espacio, porque son una gran razón por la cual estamos aquí. Gracias. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize the painful truth of the reality the Latinx community has faced this past year. California's 15 million plus Latinx residents have been among the hardest hit community by COVID-19. The Latinx community accounts for 55% of the state's COVID-19 cases, with over 1 million positive cases and 47% of COVID-related deaths. Nearly 13,000 people, our family members, friends, neighbors, taken far too soon. These statistics are devastating, but we must acknowledge the reason for which so many in our community could not stay home. Many in our community were labeled essential workers. They continue to clean homes in wealthy neighborhoods, care for the children of these homes, stock shelves at supermarkets, drive public transit, and pick the fruits and vegetables that end up in our supermarkets and ultimately our kitchen tables. I can't help but think about all of the families that lost a loved one to COVID-19. I send you all my deepest condolences, for I know the pain that many of you are living through right now. And as we mourn and heal together, I think about the resilience of our community. We are faced with the toughest battles, yet somehow we make it through every single time. The values of the Jesuit tradition speak great volumes to my own understanding of life and the development of my identity as a first-generation Latino. One of the sayings often heard in the Jesuit tradition is ite inflammate omnia, or go forth and set the world on fire. But what does fire mean to us? Some of the words we correlate to fire may include destruction, chaos, turmoil, devastation, but I challenge you to look at fire in a different way. Let's take natural forest fires, for example. Scientists have argued that forest fires are a natural and necessary part of our ecosystem, During wildfires, the nutrients from dead trees are returned to the soil. The forest floor is exposed to more sunlight, allowing seedlings released by the fire to sprout and grow. Many trees have evolved fire-resistant bark, like ponderosa pine or eucalyptus. Others, like the giant sequoia, require fire to open up their waxy cones and release seeds. Fire also acts as a natural disinfectant, incinerating diseased plants and removing them from the flora population. And after the fires, the charred remnants of burned trees provide habitats for insects and small wildlife. And sometimes, post-wildfire landscapes will explode into thousands of flowers in the striking phenomenon known as superbloom. So what if our life was that forest? What if the fire in our lives precipitated great change? What if I told you that change is a natural and necessary part of our own lives? What if we were the trees or the plants of this incinerated forest? What if we took a step back and evaluated our morals and values as a society from the soil of our personal lives, the soil that has helped us grow, our parents, our family, the ones we love? What if we were exposed to the sun, which resembles a new way of thinking about ourselves, and we embrace the sunlight and we thank it for allowing our seedling or our personal identities and expressions to sprout and grow? What if our fire-resistant bark, resembling the adversity we faced in our lives, made it so that we can no longer harm our outlook on life? What if this fire allowed us to open up our waxy cones like the sequoias and release seeds, or the knowledge and experience we have gained as college students and soon to be graduates to the younger generation? What if this fire acted as a natural disinfectant and had the ability to remove all diseased plants from your forest, or the toxic people and situations in your lives? And what if, after this fire, the charred remnants of burned trees resembling your past provided habitat for wildlife, or gave others a sense of security knowing that anything is possible because you have been through it? This fire is necessary for the development of your identity. So allow this fire to rage on inside of you, because one day you too will experience superbloom in your forest. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this space with you today. I know that this wasn't the Latinx Recognition Ceremony that any of us expected, but I am so hopeful for what's to come. I've had the privilege to get to know so many of you, and I cannot wait to cross paths again. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me dio dos luceros que cuando los abro, perfecto distingo lo negro del blanco, y en el alto cielo su fondo estrellado, y en las multitudes de mi bien amado. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado el oído, que en todo su ancho graba noche y día, grillos y canarios, martillos, turbinas, ladridos, chubascos,
bien amado. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado el sonido y el abecedario, con él las palabras que pienso y declaro. Madre, amigo, hermano, y luz alumbrando la ruta del alma del que estoy amando. La 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 la. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, tanto, me ha dado la marcha de mis pies cansados, con ellos anduve ciudades y charcos, playas y desiertos, montañas y llanos, y la casa tuya, tu calle y tu patio. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me dio el corazón que agita su marco cuando miro el fruto del cerebro humano, cuando miro al bueno tan lejos del malo, cuando miro el fondo de tus ojos claros. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, tanto, me ha dado la risa y me ha dado el llanto. Así yo distingo dicha de quebranto, los dos materiales que forman mi canto y el canto de ustedes, que es el mismo canto y el canto de todos, que es mi propio canto.
Hello, graduates. My name is Paul S. Flores. I'm a professor at the University of San Francisco. I teach in the Performing Arts and Social Justice Department. Some of you may also know me from the Muscat Scholars Program, or maybe you saw me performing around the city in the Mission. Or maybe you don't recognize me, and that's okay, because you probably come from the same kind of family that I do. You probably lived with your grandma and grandpa at some point in your life because your mom and dad were loyal to the tradition of living with los suegros like mine were. You probably could read good when you were growing up, and that helped you imagine a different life when it was hard times and you wondered if you were too poor for a new car, or too brown to get a new house, or too immigrant to go on vacation, or too Latino to be excellent. You probably know the struggle. You probably wanted to make a lot of money coming up so you could take care of your whole family. Set up everyone in the same house and keep them all together. Toda la familia junta para siempre. You probably wish you could bring your family along with you while you're following your dreams. like pulling a house on wheels. Because you don't want to miss out on what's going on back home. You don't want to miss out on who's growing up and who's getting married. And you don't want to miss Mother's Day. But that house you pulling along, that's your gente. That house is your corazón. That house you pulling behind you is what you represent in the good and the bad, en lo bueno y lo malo, y quedará contigo para siempre. Shoot, I got 35 first cousins, 12 uncles and aunts. I got abuelos and my granny behind me. I got my ancestors and my orishas behind me. I got Cuba and Mexico behind me. I'm pulling a pretty big house. And it can be a struggle sometimes to bring your family with you everywhere you go. But I always feel loved. So I give a lot of love to la gente. And when people feel loved, they smile. You probably make people smile too, because you're beautiful on the inside and out. You were probably loved unconditionally. That is amor. Unconditional love of la gente gives you confianza. Unconditional love gives you the strength to get up and keep fighting. Makes you feel like you're always ready to celebrate. Confianza. Don't be afraid to enjoy your success. Don't be shy about being a college graduate. You are a success, and it is because of your gente and the gente before them. So smile and let everyone know que ya eres licenciado. Don't worry about being labeled too ambitious or too political. Confianza. Your pride is golden. Your struggle is inspiration. Your accomplishment is priceless. And those qualities will help you stand out. And when you stand out, we all stand out. We will have your back. The same people are going to be there for you always. The same people who pulled you up are the same people who are going to celebrate your success. Confianza. Trust your people. My people in the Mission San Francisco tiene confianza. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit Latinos the hardest, and 85% of all infections in the city were Latino, it was the same people in the mission who were working on a solution for our gente. The city didn't know how to stop the spread in our community. The city didn't know who to test or how to organize. But our people know how to take care of our gente. Confianza. The same people that recognize the humanity in day laborers and domestic workers, who see our mothers and grandmothers' faces in those who clean schools and offices for less than minimum wage like our grandfathers and our fathers did, are the same people who set up the first free COVID testing site in April 2020 at Garfield Park in the Mission. The Latino Task Force are the same people fighting evictions due to lost wages, and the same people who are fighting gun violence in the hood are the same people fighting for immigrant rights and fighting police brutality and racial profiling. The same people fighting for equal internet access and educational opportunities for our raza are the same people who protested in the streets against family separations. The same people who fight to save lives in the mission are your people, your gente. The same people that brought low riding for Selena to the streets, poetry in Bart Plaza, and bailes in La Calle on 24th Street to remind us of our beauty and our true worth are the same people who will lead the recovery. And we are everywhere. Confianza. Believe in your people, in the power of 53 million Latinos in the United States. Confianza. Be confident in your vision. But if you lose your way, if you get scared of too much success or too much struggle, just look behind you. No te rindes. We got your back. Confianza. We are right there with you. Like the ember that blazes within you forever. Somos de la misma casa para siempre. Felicidades. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Felicidades, congratulations, class of 2021. My name is Gladys Perez, and I am currently a staff member here at USF. I am also on the planning committee for this year's ceremony, and I was kindly persuaded by my colleagues and peers to share some words with you today. And as I thought about what I wanted to share with y'all today and send you off with, really, I couldn't help but remember the 2 different times where I had been in your place here at USF at this ceremony. I thought about how happy I was to finally be done, but also how exhausted I was. So as you celebrate this milestone with your friends, your loved ones, your family, I really hope that you make time to rest and reflect and give yourself the mental and the physical break to just pause and restore yourself a little bit. So I really wanted to make sure y'all, I was able to communicate that to y'all before getting into anything else. But being a part of this year's committee, I have had the opportunity to really bear witness to the collective effort my colleagues have really come together in trying to provide y'all with something very meaningful and from our hearts. And what really helped bring this year's theme together was this quote, and it's really just, it brought everything together. And the quote is by now Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. The original quote is, "The Latina in me is an ember that blazes forever." And she brought these words to life in a speech that she gave to Latinx law students at Hofstra University in 1996. So well before she became a Supreme Court justice. And I can't help but think about the time she gave this quote to where she is now and what that all means for her. Mind you, I and maybe her are not qualified to talk about the science of fire. So I'm going to definitely stay away from that and respect it and leave it to our scientists. However, I'm going to talk about the metaphor and the meaning behind what this can mean. What does it mean for you and your culture to be an ember that is never going to die out? And for me, my understanding of this is that this ember is something that you can draw upon, drawing upon your people, your culture for inspiration, rejuvenation, and joy. So through our individual and collective inherited histories, we invoke them into spaces that we are in. So wherever that is. For example, for me, that means I am invoking the knowledge of my elders, particularly my dad, in ways that have not been imagined before. Mostly because I'm pretty sure my dad didn't imagine his life leading him to the United States and having a daughter that works in an institution of higher education in the United States. Just as much institutions of higher education in the United States didn't imagine the daughter of Indigenous immigrants being there, just plainly being there. But I have the really wonderful opportunity to bringing his knowledge, his experiences to life in my day-to-day work, however I can. And that requires a lot of imagination. And so as you move forward in your own paths, I hope that you are able to take what you have learned and experienced at USF, in and out of the classroom, the good, the bad, the sometimes messy things that have come up for you, and you use it all to draw upon the collective us so that you can bear witness and imagine things that have yet to exist in this world. I recognize that's a very large ask to put forward, but everything that we are witnessing and have witnessed over our own individual lifetimes, particularly right now over the past 12, 15 months, have been really difficult to just hold. So while we are navigating what it means to hold so much pain and difficulty, I hope we are able to lean on our collective responsibility to create a world that does not exist yet. And that means being uncomfortable in a lot of times, making other people uncomfortable, but making yourself just as uncomfortable as well. And with that all being said, the few of you that I've gotten the wonderful privilege of getting to know and work with over your time at USF and thinking about a new world, I'm very confident that y'all are capable of doing that. I'm hella ready to see what y'all are gonna do. The world might not be, but at least I am. So I can't wait to see what you all do moving forward. And congratulations again on reaching this huge milestone.